ディーパーオンライン
I think it's time we universally boycott Tinder. I ain't even gonna hold you because there's just so many oddballs on Tinder that I don't even think the juice is worth the squeeze, man. Y'all really gotta be careful out here. Let's get directly into it.
It's December 1st, 2018. CCTV records 22-year-old Grace and her Tinder date, Jesse, getting ready to leave a bar. They had just met a few hours ago, but already they're about to head back to his place. From the outside, everything seemed to be going perfectly well. So well, in fact, that soon after they could be seen heading to—
I don't know how bro did this. In 2024, I'm not gonna lie, you're not converting in 2 hours. You're not taking no girl home in 2 hours. That's just not happening. I don't know what this
a
guy
nearby
was on.
hotel and up to Jesse's hotel room shortly after. Nobody could have expected that this was the last time Grace would ever be seen alive. The next day happened to be her birthday, and nobody was able to reach her all day, and the same was true even days after. It was like she disappeared off the face of the earth. Her friends and family quickly reported her missing, but to no avail. Meanwhile, Jesse was recorded on CCTV out and about, going up and down the elevator, carrying cleaning supplies, and what appeared to be a suitcase. A suitcase with contents that would shock everyone to the core.
I feel like depending on what type of cleaning supplies, the people looking at the hotel surveillance footage, you gotta say something about that. Like if a nigga coming in with industrial cleaner and shit like that, we gotta go knock on that nigga door and say, why are you coming in with all these cleaning materials that you didn't enter with? Come on, man. Come on, man.
And what's even worse, the killer had another date lined up. And if the cops don't intervene and arrest him quickly, this girl, as well as countless others, could fall victim to this very same man.
Tell me what happened last Saturday.
You know, I'm really not understanding that. How do niggas play, you know, ranked Halo multiplayer and just slay some hoes and then go pick up another one? Like, you don't feel nothing on your conscience or nothing? You know, I would never do something like that, but my conscience would never let me, you know, do something like that to somebody and then go on another date. Like,
from the beginning?
Yeah.
At 5:37 p.m. on December 1st, 2018, Grace, who just finished a backpacking journey from England to New Zealand, leaves her hostel to meet Jesse. Meanwhile, Jesse is having pre-date drinks at a local bar, downing several beers before the date begins.
Hey, that's a red flag in itself. That nigga got 5 beers on a pregame? Ain't nobody pregaming like that, my nigga. I know 5 beers. I look like a nigga that's gonna do something he's probably gonna regret.
As he leaves the bar, you can still see at least 4 empty bottles sitting on the table. They meet in a popular spot where there's plenty of people, making Grace feel safe while she meets her date for the first time. But this will be a false sense of security, as Jesse has no plans to try anything untoward in public. He's going to wait until they're alone. Suspecting nothing, Grace accompanied—
I really want to know how he got her to let her guard down and how he was able to convert in 2 hours. I know this is probably like not to do with the whole documentary style thing, but how did this nigga convert in 2 hours? I can't
Jesse
do it.
to a bar where they drink together for over an hour before they head for a Mexican bar at 7:15 for more drinks. And yet another bar named Bluestone Room around 8:30 p.m. This will be where Jesse tries his luck and sees if he can get a little closer to Grace. At 8:54, they share their first kiss. This is when Jesse takes a trip to the bathroom and where Grace sends her very last message to anyone, telling her friends that it's going amazingly well and that she just clicks with him so well. She's probably excited to spend the night with a man that she—
I'm D1 hating too, nigga. You took her to 3-4 bars. That don't count. Get the kiss up front then. You had to wear down her armor and get a couple of drinks. Yeah, I'm D1 hating.
Likes. She could have had no idea that instead, he was about to end her life in one of the most horrific ways possible. The next morning, Grace's phone starts to receive a ton of messages. It's her birthday, and there are plenty of friends who want to send her their best wishes. Each and every one—
No way he switched her down in the elevator, right? Because they did a little cutscene. I don't know what that meant.
One of these messages goes unanswered. The first sign that something is wrong is at 8 a.m. when Jesse enters the very same elevator, this time on his own, throwing the camera a suspicious glance.
Yeah, nigga, we see you.
If you think he's just getting the birthday girl a morning coffee, then think again. During that night, Jesse killed Grace by strangulation, and now he's going to try and do everything he can to cover up his crime, and he needs to do it quickly, because he's already got another potential victim lined up. By 8:07 a.m., Jesse is in town and about to start the most eerie shop.
Why? I don't get why. What did Gracie do wrong, bro? It was before her birthday. Why? What did she do? There's really niggas out here that just do shit like this for no reason. Just D1 crashing out. She didn't even do nothing. She even gave you funky ass the cash.
Possible. He starts at the warehouse on Elliott Street, where he buys a suitcase that he plans to hide Grace's body in. He checks out the width and depth of the suitcase to make sure it'll fit her, so he can dispose of her body before anyone can catch him. Then, 25 minutes later, he makes his way to another store, where he buys a number of cleaning products that will be used to clean up the murder scene.
Come on, man.
Then he returns to his apartment for a number of hours, reappearing at 10:42 a.m. before he jumps in a taxi and Apex Car Rental, where he rents a car. But it's what he does next that's truly shocking and puts pressure on the cops to
I think at a certain point that clerks have to start saying, if I see a nigga getting suitcases, that's one thing. But if I'm at the store and I see a nigga with measuring tape, measuring out the suitcase, getting the cleaning supplies, reading all the instructions, I'm calling somebody, man. We gotta start being more alert. Y'all niggas at Target got secret shoppers and shit. Do something.
discover and solve his murder as quickly as possible. As Grace's body lies in the apartment, Jesse goes on a date with another girl he'd met on Tinder. Given that he has all the equipment ready to hide one body, it's speculated that he planned this to be his second victim of the day. As he arrives at the bar, Jesse is wearing exactly the same clothing that he wore the night before, possibly the same clothes that he wore when he killed.
Yo, this nigga crashed some cheeks, slaughtered shorty, cleaned up, got a suitcase, put her in her suitcase, and now he finna pull up on another shorty? Come on, man. Come on, man. This nigga gotta have 5 stars in GTA. This is a generational crash out. This is beyond what any young nigga could possibly conceive. This is ridiculous.
Grace. We're not sure.
Like, young niggas just switch you down and that's it. And then they just go drive off. This nigga premeditating it and doing. That's why I said it's worse than these young niggas.
Whether Kempson was as pushy in his initial messages to this girl, but what we do know is that the conversation he struck up with her during the date not only brought up some major red flags, it downright terrified her. Allegedly, he wanted to talk to her about where to hide a dead body from the police. Right?
Imagine a nigga text you, and this to all my girls watching this. Imagine a nigga say, hey, let's meet up somewhere remote and obscure. Nigga couldn't use no other verbiage. Nigga, you couldn't even hide the bloodlust, you bitch. And I swear I'm standing 10 toes on Gracie. We gonna fight,
Anyway,
nipple.
the date is over, and this girl's instincts may have just saved her life. It's hard to imagine the horror that she would have felt when she learned the truth about the man she just walked away from, certain that he likely had the same fate lined up for her as he did with Grace. At 8:56 p.m.,
Shit, them tight ass jeans that nigga always sporting probably draining the HP out his balls.
we can see Jesse carrying a piece of equipment back to his apartment. More precisely, it's a carpet cleaner, and he's going to try and use that carpet cleaner to try and remove any trace of Grace's presence at his apartment. He's even got 2 bottles of cleaner in his hand, making sure he's got enough to get the job done. 30 minutes later, and we're greeted with the product of all his hard work.
I don't mean to keep pausing, but come the fuck on, man. Anybody that's ever worked at a hotel, you got a guest that didn't come in there with a carpet cleaner. And we not talking about a Swiffer. We not talking about a mop. Nigga, we talking about a whole industrial cleaner. No one's going to that room and alerting authorities. Really? Fire the staff.
He's about to try and hide the body. He reappears in the elevator with a trolley carrying several luggage bags, one of which is the suitcase that he'd bought earlier that morning. It's way too heavy to carry, as inside is Grace's dead body. Of course, he can't walk through the streets with this amount of baggage, which is exactly why he hired the rental car. Minutes later, he's loading the rental car with all of the baggage, ready to make the next move in his attempt to cover up this murder, hiding the body in a place he thinks no one will find it. The next morning at 7 a.m., Jesse buys a shovel and heads back to his apartment, where he collects some clothing to take to the dry cleaners, destroying more potential evidence of his crime. But he's not done there, as he stops off at a random trash can.
He's a serial killer. He's definitely a serial killer. They probably want to probe into this guy a little bit more. This is way too meticulous to just be a nigga who just got too drunk. He's been doing it.
Tossing a large trash bag inside. Then Jesse takes his rental car for a deep clean, paying particular attention to the rear of the vehicle, where he had stashed the suitcase containing Grace's body. And with that, his work was done. For the next 2 days, Grace's family and friends go through turmoil. Nobody has heard from her, she hasn't posted on any social media, and she isn't answering either of her 2 phones. Her family report her missing to Auckland police on December 5th. Grace's father, David, even flies to Auckland and makes a heartfelt appeal for his daughter's safe return.
Grace has been missing for several days, and as a family, we've been extremely concerned for her welfare. Do anybody who has seen, spoken to, or come into contact with Grace, come forward and contact the investigation team.
With so much media coverage,
And you could imagine the sack of shit that did that to her is probably watching that shit in his goddamn hotel room, plotting on the next set of cheeks. That's just,
at the
that's
time,
some sinister
Jessie
shit,
likely
man.
saw her father's appeal, and yet the family's pleas went unanswered. But Auckland police are about to use various methods to track Grace's last movements and find their main suspect in her disappearance. They're able to find out she was on a date with a mystery man, and after poring over hours of surveillance footage, they find the last person she was with, and track him back to his apartment. At 3 p.m. on December...
Nigga really thought law enforcement was a dumbass, nigga. You thought you was finna do this shit and get away with it? Like, stop, nigga. Just
5th,
stop.
the cops turn up at the City Life Hotel, but they almost miss their man, as he eyes them in the lobby when he approaches the front door. Jessie thinks if he casually strolls away, he won't be noticed. But these eagle-eyed cops don't miss a trick and quickly apprehend him before he can make an escape. At this point, the smartest thing for Jessie to do is to own up to his crime, maybe try to play it off as an accident, and face the consequences. But he's...
What you think, Reaper Gang? You think he gonna stand 10 toes on it or try to maneuver his way out of it? I feel like this sack of shit, right? This horn dog sack of shit that just can't he gotta ruin Tinder for everybody. I think he's
not going to do any such thing. In the interrogation room, he plans to lie his way out of this, but he's completely unaware that the cops have already seen every move from the night of the murder and have about as much evidence as they could possibly ask for.
Yeah, that's what I said. He the worst serial killer of all time, nigga. They got you in 4K UHD curved monitor screens, my nigga. I ain't never seen nothing like this. You would have thought this shit was a reenactment. They got you going to the bathroom. They got you wiping your left testicle on a Tuesday morning. They have everything. You might as well cough that shit up, nigga. This for Gracie,
At the start
nigga.
of the interview, he has no reason to lie, as he's just recalling the events before the murder.
Tell us about Grace.
So I was talking to Grace on Tinder.
Yeah.
We'd matched on Friday. I saw that we'd matched the next day on Saturday. And then we met at Sky City. And then we decided that we were going up to Andy's Burger Bar, which is on the first floor.
Actually hearing his voice is much more alarming because it's pretty soft tone and it doesn't, you would think you have a picture in your head about guys that do shit like this and it ain't his voice. So it'd be the dudes that are soft spoken like this be the most terrorizing motherfuckers.
Not long into this interview, Jessie becomes entangled in his first lie, as he claims Grace was the one pushing for a date, when we already know he was the one trying hard to meet Grace in their initial messages.
Whose idea was it to go to that particular burger place?
Me. Because I didn't initially know that she was real.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of... So have you heard of catfish?
No.
So catfishing is where someone uses your profile, or uses your photos and pretends to be you and then meets, and you're a completely different person.
Right.
And it's on Tinder, it's all about the way you look. And so if they use more endearing photos, you're more...
Yeah, you can play the bullshit with anyone else. I've been on, I know what Tinder is like, my nigga. You know a catfish immediately when you see it. If it looks too suspicious, ain't nobody swiping on that. Ain't nobody messaging that, so cut that shit out.
likely to swipe for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does meeting in a public place sort of protect you from meeting someone who's not as good looking as...
Well, there's security there. So if she wasn't who she said she was, at least in my mind, I'd feel safe.
When Jessie is confronted with evidence from surveillance cameras, he continues to lie, digging a hole for himself that he's going to struggle to...
Oh, for anyone, I don't mean to keep pausing it, but if this is just a safety tip, if you don't feel like someone is who they say they are, or you think it's a catfish, just FaceTime them or Skype them if you don't have iPhone. Find a way to video call, and that's going to confirm right there. So that way you don't have to see them tangibly or put yourself in danger.
escape from.
No. I go down Victoria Street, straight down to the bottom, and then hang a left, and I head towards the viaduct.
You go to the viaduct a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You've kind of walked in a bit of a funny direction if you were planning to go to the viaduct.
Well, it's the direction I normally go.
Yeah. It's I mean, I'm just sort of saying, like, if you were planning to go to the viaduct.
I normally go down Queen Street and then cross at the bottom of Queen Street, go through the containers, and then walk along the wharf.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, this nigga got a goddamn doctorate in bullshit. This nigga bullshitting his ass off, boy. And a lot of people lose they cool. If you notice these type of interviews, you could tell this nigga a sociopath just by the way he's calmly navigating this shit, trying to really make it seem like, oh, this is the way I went to the viaduct. Just stop it, nigga. We know what you was on. This is for Gracie, fuck, nigga.
Is there a particular reason you
Tap
would
that
do
shit
that?
on me.
I feel safer down that way.
The cop obviously suspects something strange here. Jesse's behavior and responses don't seem to line up or
That cop said, nigga, come on, bro. Come on, bro.
make sense at all. And if Jesse is lying, it'll only take a good few questions to throw him off completely. So the cop starts to apply the pressure, sending Jesse into panic.
Actually don't know if she's been murdered or not yet. She may be alive and well.
Okay.
But she might also be dead. Okay? And it could be that you've done it.
Oh, no. Don't pull it up now. Don't pull up the pants and get worried now. You wasn't worried when you did that Gracie for, nigga. Come do that shit. Come do that shit to a grown man, nigga.
Hey, I just want to ask a question. Am I being arrested for something I didn't do?
You haven't been arrested, mate.
Oh.
No.
Holy.
He's not being arrested just yet, but Auckland police are convinced Jesse is either behind Grace's disappearance or is at least involved. And
No shit, nigga. We got you in 4K, nigga, with your booty sweat on the goddamn chair. You can see that shit when you stand up. They got everything on you, my nigga. They seen you do everything. This is the most dead giveaway. I'm not even on the police force, and I can take this shit comfortably to the judge and say, slam this motherfucker.
the more they investigate this case, the more evidence they find to suggest Jesse is the one responsible. It's not just the surveillance footage that helps solve this case. Remember the new suitcase and cleaning products Jesse bought the morning after? Well, believe it or not, they were all bought on Grace's credit card, as well as an extra night's stay at the city.
He did it on Grace. Wait. That nigga got it. Getting it the first 2 hours wasn't good enough. You had to lay waste to a perfectly normal and good college graduate woman. You did that. You hit it, and you couldn't even, after doing all of that, you would think, you know what, I'm gonna use my funds to do this. You're just gonna run up her car too? Man, I hope they throw your ass in Alcatraz and goddamn tie you up and fucking slice you up with a weed eater, bitch!
City Life Hotel.
Sack of shit.
In fact, it's very possible he paid for his second date on Grace's credit card. An extra day at the hotel should
Hey, this is sleazeball general. I ain't gonna
give
hold you.
Jesse time to clean up the mess. But it's going to take more than a carpet cleaner to get rid of the evidence. When police search his apartment, they find traces of Grace's blood. The credit card payments, the witness testimony, cell phone locations placing Grace and Jesse together, and the staggering detail found in the surveillance footage backed their suspect into a corner, and in his second interview on December 7th, they left Jesse no choice but to confess. A confession that would soon lead into one of the most interesting but troubling defenses ever used in court.
They were talking to me about 50 Shades of Grey, which is
Oh my god, this nigga finna pull the 50 Shades of Grey card? Really? Man, I ain't even gonna do it, man.
ex-fantasy
Oh my god.
movie that's out. We started having sex. At first it was just normal. It was very placid. And then she asked me if we could get into bondage. And then all I remember is falling asleep in the shower.
How many niggas you know falling asleep, and how many times you done fell asleep in the shower? And don't be a contrarian and say, one Sunday I was tired. Let's keep it a buck. Niggas say, oh, I just knew I fell asleep in the shower and she was murdered. Stop!
I need to stop.
Yeah, come here.
Go.
Would you like some fresh air?
Yeah, please. I was in shock and I didn't know what to do.
Oh, you didn't know what to do. You knew to take that ass over to the carpet cleaning place, get the carpet cleaner, take it to the user card, do all that shit. You knew what you was doing. Stop. If you want to be a man when it comes to women and overpower them and do that to them, be a grown man with your booty on the line of Alcatraz, fuck nigga. Just for Gracie, nigga.
I went downstairs and I was just, I don't know, I was all over the place. I didn't believe what had happened. I was just terrified and scared. I thought that she had gone. I thought she had left.
Pathologist, specialist doctor will perform a post-mortem.
Yeah.
They're very skilled at establishing people's causes of death. Do you understand that?
I went to the warehouse at the atrium and bought a suitcase. I went back and I was just in shock because it just didn't seem right. I left to go and get cleaning products.
Nigga, yo, for even that nigga face don't look like you was ever in shock. Nigga, you look cool, calm, and collected. Nigga, you look like Michael Jordan in the fourth before he shoot a game winner. Nigga, you was ice cold locked in. Shut the fuck up.
So I messaged a friend and said I'll meet you at Revelry. After finishing drinks with her, I got back to city life. And the whole time I just kept saying, I'm sorry.
No, don't cry now. Don't cry now.
And then
They gonna tuck that booty in and read you a bedtime story in Alcatraz. Fuck, nigga, this for Gracie.
downstairs, and I grabbed the porter thing. And I put the suitcase on top of the porter thing. I drove the hire car into Wilson's car park and parked it. I woke up the next day at about 5 a.m. and drove the car out to Cumu. At first, I picked up a shovel from...
Why is he saying it's pissing me off? Stop saying it and crying like you telling a sad story. It's sad, but it ain't sad for you. It's sad for Gracie and her family. It was her birthday, you selfish sack of shit. And you got some ass in 2 hours. Why?
ITM at Cumu. I ended up driving towards the Waitakaries. I went into the bush, I dug a hole, I went and got the suitcase, and I covered the hole, and then I drove.
Where is her possessions?
I threw them in the rubbish.
Whereabouts?
Albert Park, rubbish.
Right, so what items of her property have been disposed of in Albert Park?
Everything.
All of her clothing?
Everything that was in the room.
Whereabouts did you clean the car? The outside of the car?
I think it was in Henderson. I don't know West very well.
Okay. And what did you use to clean the car?
If you was gonna do all this, you might as well plead guilty and have your defense craft up bullshit. All the steps you went through, you would have thought you wouldn't have folded under pressure, but you was just masquerading.
Water blaster thing from a car cleaning place.
Did she have any injuries?
Not that I can remember. I was just panicking.
Did you inflict any injuries on her that caused her to die?
No.
Did you kill
Oh my God.
Grace Mullane?
Oh.
Okay. And you're under arrest for the murder of Grace Mullane on or about the 2nd of December.
Okay.
You understand?
Yep.
Did you intend to cause her death?
No.
Are you ready to take us to where she is?
The media called it the 50 Shades of Grey defense. The idea is that someone may consent to being harmed during intimacy knowing the dangers involved. If they made no...
What the fuck is a 50 Shades of Grey defense? If any nigga that watches Reaper Gang ever coughs this shit out, you're gonna have to see me and we're gonna have to engage in Mortal Kombat. We have to. Because that's just, what kind of defense is this? Like, 50 Shades of Grey, cool, but I don't remember 50 Shades of Grey, that nigga was slaying bitches. I don't remember that.
no indication to stop, then it would be seen as an accident, and the person responsible shouldn't face a murder charge. But this defense has always been seen as more of a scapegoat, used by lawyers to try and get their defendant off with a lighter sentence, which in this case would be manslaughter. This doesn't change what happened after Grace's death, and the disturbing series of events uncovered during the investigation. From December 1st, the day before the date, all the way to December 7th, cops found Google searches made by Jesse looking for a place to hide the body. He'd also
This nigga is a D1 idiot. This nigga killed somebody, went in Google and typed places to hide her body in Google on his personal device.
taken photos of Grace's body before and after he packed her into the suitcase. They found Grace's body on December 9th, 2018 in the Waitakere Ranges just outside of Auckland. It was determined
Let that
that she
woman
was
rest
strangled
in
and
peace,
had
man.
bruises on her arms and chest consistent with being pinned down. In New Zealand, there's no such thing as first-degree or second-degree murder. All charges are treated the same, carrying
Thank
a life
goodness.
sentence. That
Shout out
meant
to
there
New
was
Zealand,
no
nigga.
investigation into the premeditation. All that mattered was if Jesse killed her or not. It was that simple. Jesse maintained his innocence, but was eventually found guilty. And on February 21st, 2020, he was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum non-parole period of 17 years.
And that's justice served to this piece, this sack of shit right here. Had everything lined up for him. The girl didn't do anything wrong. And you just want to take it into your own hands and do this shit. I wish they would have gave you worse than that, but we'll take the life imprisonment. And the grand thing that I wanted to make with this video, while I did try to make it somewhat entertaining while respecting parties involved, I did want to say when it comes to this Tinder, these guys actually exist. And there could be girls that exist like this too. So we'll just say, Tinder in general, be careful. Before you link up with these people, FaceTime them, I don't know. I'd stay off of it in general and live in real life, touch some fucking grass, because this shit ain't worth it. Now, if you like that, if you want more of these type of reaction videos, because I react to everything, I'm not limited to anything. Let the Big Reaper know, send recommendations, you know how we do. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on those post notifications, that'd be great. It's been your boy, the Big Reaper.
Reaper Online